Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the phone number for the best prices anywhere in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area. Whether you're a landscaper or a do-it-yourselfer, this is the time of year to get into spring cleanups and landscaping your yard, and they've got everything you need, including tons of mulch in different colors, topsoil, gravel, whatever it is that the artist in you wants to use to make your yard look great. So head over to Omni, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. This is going to be a very busy day, severe weather-wise, across the central Gulf states and into parts of the Tennessee and Ohio Valley. We have a moderate risk of severe weather that extends from northeastern and south parts of southeastern Louisiana, all of Mississippi, western Alabama, and it kind of punches northward up into western Tennessee with enhanced risks surrounding that and slight risk, which reaches to the North Carolina-Georgia state line and runs up into southern Indiana, southern Illinois, and goes back into the rest of Arkansas, Louisiana, into eastern Texas. And what you're seeing is the Storm Prediction Center's map of risk and also the fact that you're seeing tornado watches. Please be advised that if you're watching this on a replay later today, that obviously this was recorded at roughly 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So go to your local National Weather Service office forecast page for the latest information regarding severe weather, and you can do that by going to weather.gov. This is going to be a widespread regional outbreak, and the Storm Prediction Center is indicating that there could very well be EF2 tornadoes or stronger. And in some of the severe thunderstorms, we could see wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or more. And when I looked at the upper air, have been for the last couple of days, if you've been following all of this, it's certainly justified by the forecast is certainly justified by what we're seeing in terms of the upper air dynamics. We are also looking at the satellite loop this morning, and you can see all those bright white clouds that extend down through the Mississippi Valley into East Texas. These thunderstorms are actually strengthening this morning, and they're going to get even stronger as that line progresses eastward. We've got a very strong storm system that is up into the lower Great Lakes, and it's driving all of this. It's also setting up a warm front into the Ohio Valley down to the Mid-Atlantic coast, and ahead of that, we're seeing clouds that are streaming in from the northwest to southeast across parts of the northeast and northern Mid-Atlantic states, and this is going to be ushering in very warm air for Thursday, and finally getting rid of the last of this very cold air mass we've been in. And it also will mean that we're going to see the potential for severe weather risk come tomorrow in the eastern part of the U.S., up and down the eastern seaboard. The Storm Prediction Center, and this is from their overnight forecast, so we're waiting for them to update it a little late in short order. But the Storm Prediction Center overnight they had split the slight risk areas in two. But what they've done is that they've actually expanded it and extended it northward through Pennsylvania to the New York state line into northwest New Jersey, and they've pushed the marginal risk further east, bordering into westernmost New England and pushing it all the way up the Hudson Valley into northeastern New York. We also have a second area for tomorrow in southeastern Georgia, the southeastern half of Georgia, and parts of South Carolina down into the Florida Panhandle and northeastern Florida. And, of course, you can see the marginal risk area that surrounds that. This is the radar as of 9 a.m. I'm going to give it a quick refresh. So this is now closer to 9:30. We've got this warm front moving through into the northeast, and ahead of it, you can see precipitation here in the form of some rain in some of the colder air. We're seeing it fall down as some sleet and maybe even some wet snowflakes in the mix. We could see perhaps a shower or two around later on into the afternoon. In some places. Not everybody's going to see one, but we're going to keep an eye on this nonetheless. And then we're going to finally transition over to the very warm air that's going to be surging up the eastern seaboard overnight and tomorrow. Meanwhile, here we are again. This is as of 9:30, and we've got a line of storms that have already produced a number of tornado warnings and a number of severe thunderstorm warnings from the area as it shifts to the east, and we're going to see this squall line get even stronger as the day wears on. So do be advised of that. We've got a number of watches and warnings and advisories up in the eastern half of the United States. We actually do have some winter weather advisories up for central and western Pennsylvania because where cold air is being stubborn, you're getting a little bit of freezing precipitation in some places, and also up into the upper Great Lakes, northern Michigan, a few places in that purple, and ice storm warnings. Otherwise, we have winter weather advisories for a mix of wintry precipitation up through the northern lakes, even a few winter storm warnings up back into a few counties in northwestern Minnesota. Meanwhile, the yellow represents a tornado watch that was left over from overnight, and there are going to be more as the day goes on. We've got high wind warnings up for parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and northwest Alabama into Tennessee. Wind advisories that extend further east and north. They basically cover the slight risk area that we've indicated from earlier. So just going to roll back on what the models do with this. We're coming from a very dry, cold air mass that brought that dry air all the way down into the Gulf states. And we're watching how dew points have shot up from the 30s to the 60s in a very short period of time. And this is part of the dynamics that we're dealing with, along with a strong upper trough. If you look how the GFS handles this, this is at 1 a.m. at 2 a.m. I'm sorry, 2 p.m. this afternoon. And then by 8 p.m., that line races eastward to the Alabama state line. It is very well developed. The squall line extends all the way up into Illinois and Indiana, where the low center is. And it's also going to hold its own during the overnight as it moves into Georgia and eastern Tennessee, although I think the intensity will start to wane as we move through the night and into the early morning hours. There'll still be some strong storms with this, and the Storm Prediction Center is reflecting that in the slight risk area that they have for overnight into tomorrow morning in parts of the southeast. And then for tomorrow, as that warm air moves up the eastern seaboard, the warm front goes by late this afternoon, this evening. Temperatures tonight will probably hold in the 30s and 40s, and then we'll shoot up tomorrow in the 60s and 70s in much of the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states. And I don't know if we're going to get a line of thunderstorms. It's certainly, if you judge it from the models, which is not always a wise thing to do from the standpoint of thunderstorms, because oftentimes what the models have and what reality has are two different things. The models seem to indicate the thunderstorms will be more clustered rather than in a line, but nonetheless, that severe weather risk that we've indicated is there for Thursday for the eastern seaboard from New York all the way down to Florida. And then on Friday, behind it, we're going to see weather conditions improve. There is a chilly air mass coming down, but all it's going to do is take temperatures back down to near or a little bit below average for Friday and for the weekend. And as far as the weekend is concerned, Saturday looks like the better of the two weekend days because there's this little disturbance that's going to be moving through Saturday night into Sunday with clouds and maybe a couple of showers for some areas from northeast Virginia on up through parts of New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. It's nothing really to write home about in terms of intensity, but it may keep the day rather cloudy and as a result keep temperatures a bit subdued because we're looking for highs Friday into Sunday, mostly in the low to mid 50s. And nighttime lows down in the 30s, which is about where we're supposed to be for this time of year. And then next week, we're seeing maybe a chance for some severe weather again in parts of the southern plains on Monday night into Tuesday morning and into the lower Mississippi Valley for the same time frame, and then pushing eastward through the central Gulf states again. That seems to be the target zone that has set up since the middle of March. Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, 631-756-1125, the phone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. So we'll be watching the developments closely as we go through the day. Of course, we're going to cover all this severe weather tonight extensively on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, which is at 7:30 p.m. on my YouTube channel. And once again, let me remind you that if you're watching this on a replay later today, the radars and satellites are dated. This video was cut at 9:30 Eastern Time. So please go to your local National Weather Service office forecast page, weather.gov or spc.noaa.gov, for the latest developments as far as severe weather is concerned in your particular area. Have a great and safe day, everybody.